Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob Thomas, your Everything Microsoft Enterprise Cloud Architect. And today we're going to go a little bit deeper into Azure hosting and provisioning, right? In previous video, we talked about what is Azure SQL Server, kind of ran through the benefits, the values. But this is more like a part two to that, kind of really get into the next thought of it. How do you think about Azure from a hosting standpoint and a provisioning standpoint, right? And then a future video will actually show you live of how to provision it and how to create a virtual machine, how to spin up a SQL Server and get going. Now, we'll dive into like how can you host a server into the cloud using Azure. Oh, and also how the responsibilities are shared between you and Microsoft depending on the options you chose. Again, I touched on it, right? Talked about it. I'm gonna go a little bit more deeper and simplify it. So let me simplify all choices so you can pick the right one for you. I know we left with what do you think are the right ones for you in the previous video. So without further ado, let's get started, but let's give a shout out to our sponsors. And we definitely want to give a shout out to Enterprise Software Solution. These guys are great for any of your Microsoft 365, Dynamics, Copilot, Azure needs. Highly recommend reaching out to them. You can see their customers that they work with. I work with them, highly recommend them. All right, so let's jump into this. All right, so we talked about, here's a slide I didn't show, but this one was definitely talking about high availability. You want to get 999s for uptime, your service level agreement, point in time restore. You want to be able to restore it for any disasters or anything. Improve monitoring and troubleshooting with extended events. And then, support for programming functions to drive more robust applications. So these are just the benefits, right? Independent scale, compute, and storage to match both performance financial needs. Like this is the big one. Your ability to say, hey, I need to give this server more resources. I could just scale it, right? And then on the slide, I'll show you that. And again, if I have time, we'll walk through it. But so this is good, talking about the benefits. So SQL, basically SQL Server on Azure, a virtual machine, and basically, Azure's infrastructure as a service or IaaS model. If you're used to running SQL Server on premises, this option, basically will feel familiar. As we get into that, we're talking about IaaS, right? And we left off here, and I just high level cover this, but spend a little bit more time, go a little bit more deeper. If you're used to running SQL Server on premise, this option will feel familiar. You'll choose the OS, the SQL Server version, and even get full remote access to the virtual machine. You're in charge of the updates, the backups, the security, just like you were on-prem. So that's infrastructure as a service, right? So you can see here, high availability, you're responsible for backups, you're responsible for scaling, provisioning. So it's a little bit more harder. Now this option gives you full flexibility and full responsibility. So that's the thing about responsibility. You're not responsible for virtualization, hardware, and the data center management. So those very, very challenging things is what Microsoft is responsible for. Now, next up is Azure SQL Server Managed, which is platform as a service, PaaS offering. It's perfect for if you're migrating a SQL Server app to the cloud and want to reduce maintenance. So platform as a service right here, right? You'll get compatibility with features like SQL Agent, but Azure takes care of patching, backups, and most of its maintenance. So you can see here, you don't got to worry about these items. You manage the networking and identity, but you're not boggled down in server task and details. It could be a little daunting, right? It's best for both worlds, especially for existing apps that don't need total server control. Now, at the top of SQL Server family, we have the Azure SQL Server Database, the fully managed, the database as a service, or DBaaS, which I just want to mention it, but I didn't want to cover that. It's just gets a little bit more in depth. Now with this option, I will say that with this option, there is no virtual machines to manage. It's easy to scale, fully automated, perfect for new cloud native apps. If you're starting fresh, This is simple, more efficient choice. But keep in mind, there may be some limitation if you are migrating an older app. So you might need to tweak your code to make it compatible. So if you're migrating and there's some code, there's going to be some code involved, and it makes it pretty challenging. And before I get into this, I want to talk about the Microsoft Shared Model and these colors, infrastructure as a service, SQL Server on VMs. You're responsible for operating system, software, updates, firewall, data security. Azure handles the hardware and the VM infrastructure. Platform as a service, managed instance. Azure takes over more like OS patching, availability, but you still manage access control, firewall, and configurations. And then again, don't have that on here, but database as a service, your responsibilities are minimal. Azure manages everything under the hood. You focus on the data, user permissions, and app level security. And the best way to remember this is more control equals more responsibility. Less management equals less flexibility. Match your options based off of your business and security needs. All right. Now, I wanted to take 2 minutes to kind of really show you this. This is when you're provisioning this, you're going to tell it, all right, so I'm going to do a single elastic pool. When I get until deeper, you're going to see a lot more of this. And you can see like managed instance, right? 24 vCores, 80 vCores, Gen 1 to 24 vCores, right? So you can deploy more cores. You can deploy more storage from 32 gigabytes to 8 terabytes. You can see here, business critical, hyperscale. I'm sorry, the screen is cutting this off a little bit. If I could take it up there, you could see it now a little bit better, right? So service tier plus the number of vCores types and amount of data storage, number of IOs, backup storage. So this is good. This is a good side. You could see, okay, yes, when I'm provisioning it, I can scale, right? And that's the beauty of this. We have an extra 30 seconds, so I did want to let's show you an instance just quickly, really quickly. I'm going to show you instance. I'm going to go here to Azure SQL Server. Don't follow these steps. I'm going to go into a lot more depth of this. I'm going to create an instance. Let me create an instance right here. Now I just wanted to show you this, and throw some. Let me throw a random name in here. Oh, good, populated with some stuff in here. And let me see. Let's create new. Server name. You know what? I'm creating a SQL Server database, so bear with me here. Here's something I created in the past. You can see. Let me go back. I created a SQL Server instance, and right here. All right, so let's configure the database. That's where I was going to. Right, and you can kind of see here, and you can see the cores. So this is where I wanted to show you, right? So you can see Mac cores. I can increase the cores like that. Woo! That's that looks pricey. Minimum cores, right? And this is the beauty of this tool. It's like, oh man, I could scale like this. This is amazing, right? And look at that. Monthly is $205 a month, right? So I could scale it down. I could just move it, So that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the value of this. It's like I don't have to physically go into the actual server itself and just like add the hard drive, remove the hard drive, or add the RAM, right? I can just come in here and just scale it based off of my needs. I need more juice and power, functionality. I need more space, right? I can do that and just scale up the system. So I just wanted to show you that. To explain like this, visually explain like what the slide is, what it's talking about. All right, so I hope this was helpful, right? I hope you got some insight from this. And no matter what you choose, under your responsibility is key. Understanding responsibility is key. Security, configuration, compliance, or shared efforts. So pick the right level of control, right? So you could see here. All right, so you want to pick the right level of control, or recommend this, or a more managed solution. But this is when the platform as a service is really good. So thanks for watching. If this helped clarify your options, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more Azure Insight. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.